You've tuned in to the Top 10 Gardener with garden expert Ken Lain. Join him daily as he answers timely garden questions that are sure to make a difference in your gardens. Now, welcome your host, Ken Lain.
And we are back in the studio with Lisa Waters Lane. She comes each week, and this whole segment is nothing but her straight 10 minutes, just nonstop, without my interruptions ever once.
Mm-hmm. I think people know better.
If they've been tuned in at all, I like a microphone and I like to hear my voice.
Mm-hmm.
Not really. Actually, I do. It's a sickness. My mother gave me a Mr. Microphone as a kid, and I've always kind of liked it ever since. So,
well, they say the first thing you need to do before changing something is admit that you need to change.
Yeah, there we go. I can change if I have to.
That was a great show. That was what, the Red Green Show?
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone remembers that. That was a good show.
Canadian comedy shows.
I wonder if it's still out there. I'll have to look for that.
Everything's on the internet. What are you talking about?
That
it's
is
just
true.
Which service? You got to subscribe to 20 services.
Thank you.
Cable TV was cheaper back in the day than now. If you need HBO and Disney and Netflix and Amazon and oh my gosh, Peacock. And
we thought we were getting away from that, but we weren't.
We cut the cable 20 years ago.
Oh, at least,
so when the kids were growing up, we just said satellite. The commercials are terrible. We're going to control the content through streaming. It has gotten way easier and way more choices. You can get the sports and the news now. But boy, to get it costs. It used to be free for 15 years.
Yeah.
Last 5 years, it's like crazy expensive.
Like everything else. Anything else, Grandpa?
No more. I remember when a candy bar used to be 5 cents, a quarter. I remember streaming used to be free. That's terrible.
Oh, that's fun.
Anywho,
yes. Yeah. We'll move on to gardening and planting things because, yes, you can't go wrong with that. So I'm going to hit on ornamental grasses, using grasses in your landscape. And you're probably going, Lisa, we've heard this before. But we have so many in right now, and they look beautiful. So if you actually want to see what they're going to look like, now is the time to be shopping for them and planting them.
They're fully mature too. So it's not just the pampas grass. Pampas grass is not fully mature. They look innocent in the store, in the garden center, and then they grow up into these 6 foot, 8 foot beasts.
Right.
So, but most of the other ornamental grasses, what you see, that's their mature size for most of them. So they're hip high and below, generally speaking.
Yeah.
So they're stunning grasses.
Right. And it's just a perfect time to see them. And the reason I like to push grasses is because they are easy to grow.
Yeah, they are.
They are relatively maintenance free. Yeah. I mean, you're cutting them back in March, and that's about
all
it.
You do. Fertilize them.
Right. So super easy to grow, year-round interest in the yard. But even in the wintertime, you know, unless they get smothered by snow, and they're very wildlife friendly, great for the birds to hide in, to get food from in the fall and winter. And then also just that movement and texture in the yard. We get so many things that are a round leaf or a pokey thing or you know, it's nice to have some different texture out there, to watch it kind of blowing in the fall breezes. It's just, so there's a lot of super reasons why you would want to ornament
It's
grasses.
an elevation thing, partly, I think. We're high elevation, prairies, valleys. Grasses just naturally grow. We've got so many wild native ones that grow here. So miscanthus and bear grass, all these others. So they adapt better here than they do other parts of the country, and they don't get that disease, middle die out, all this, some of the issues that other parts of the country have. And we grow them so easily here.
Right.
Put them on a drip system, like you treat them like a tree or a shrub. Don't treat them fancy. Don't overwater them, underwater them, and they'll bloom better for you.
The thing I like about grasses is you can also grow them in containers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they do quite nicely in containers, actually. One of the ones that we actually have both of these growing in containers. So this one is the dwarf fountain grass.
Yeah, very nice.
So super cute little grass, nice and green. Its plumes are kind of a off-white, kind of creamy color. Very, very pretty. Plump. We have this growing in our backyard in a dark blue ceramic container. Yeah. And it is gorgeous.
Yeah, stunning.
It is so pretty. In the afternoon, the sun comes around that side of the house and it just like almost glows.
Yeah.
Because of all the little plume heads on it and stuff. So
Those birds make nests out of them, I noticed.
Mhm.
So they'll pick them and kind of
Yeah.
make little sparrows and stuff around.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah. So, and ours just, we've had it in the container, what, 3 years, 4 years
I
now?
don't. So many years I've forgotten. And it
Yeah.
still grows. I kind of want it to die because I want a different grass in there. Yeah, I'm
Right.
getting bored with it. It's so pretty.
But it is really pretty this time of year and just so easy to take care of. So we have that grass in a container, but we also have. So this is actually a sedge, but it looks enough like a grass. We'll throw it in with ornamental grasses. So this one is kind of they call it curly fox sedge, and it has kind of a tan to burgundy color to it. I grow this in containers. I especially love it in the fall because it just looks so pretty with their chrysanthemums and pansies and that kind of stuff around it. In the summer, I think right now I have an ivy growing around
Yeah.
it. So I have the brownish red of the sedge, but then the ivy has it's a variegated green and white one. It's a really nice contrast.
It's stunning. Yeah.
It's very, very,
very
pretty.
stylish.
So yeah, so you can grow grasses in containers.
These are only knee high. I mean, they're short, so they don't overpower their space or the container or the raised bed, or they don't get in the way. And when they do, you just whack them back and go, that's enough. You're done.
That's right. So grasses can be grown singly. So some of your big grasses, like your big pampas grass, can be a big showstopper out in the yard, or or you plant in mass. So grasses, I think, look really pretty planted in like 3s and 7s and kind of cluster them together.
Yeah.
Can be really attractive.
I think more people need to collect grasses. Like we have a collection. We got, I don't know, it's 5 or 6 varieties. And people collect conifers. They collect fruit trees, roses. You could easily collect grasses, different styles, and stage them. And they just grow well together. They're always so striking.
That's true. So one of the new grasses that we have, I would bring it in, but it was too big, but it was pretty. It's called a Black Hawk blue stem grass. It's probably, I'd say, about 4 foot tall. It's going to get about 6 foot in your yard, probably about 2 foot wide. What I loved about it, it has a really dark red, almost burgundy and green stem that grows up. And then it has a plume on it that's almost maroon color.
Yeah, nice.
I think I have not seen that grass before here, but it is beautiful. And I could see it out in the yard where you got a lot of green.
Or you just teasing people?
No, it's here.
It's
gotcha.
Here. I thought
I couldn't bring it into the radio show.
Oh, it's too big to come in the studio.
Yeah.
I got it. I'm tracking.
Sorry about that. Yep. But yeah, it's gorgeous. You got to come down and see it. It would be really nice.
Grass. That's pretty cool.
It'd be really, really nice contrast.
6 foot tall. It'll be a good privacy screen or property line or down the driveway. It's big enough to kind of give it some oomph.
Definitely. We also have another taller one that's called heavy metal switchgrass.
That's a pretty one.
That's another one that I like because it's not just green. It actually has color in the stem. It's kind of got a little bit of a red to it.
Blue, red, green. It's got
switchgrass. Yeah.
It's switching all kinds of colors. It's a switchgrass.
It has a very delicate plume to it. So it doesn't have like a pampas grass plume. It's very delicate, very airy, very little wind out there, and just kind of sways.
Yeah.
Really, really pretty. It gets about 4 to 5 foot tall, wide. Another just beautiful one.
If you follow us on Instagram and Facebook at all, and YouTube, is that right? So one of those, anyway, I took a video of a beautiful display of switchgrass, and it just aired. And so it's me just showing what it looks like in the landscape of fully mature. It's about just above hip high.
Yeah,
and a good video camera. Just such a pretty display. I went, I've got to capture this.
Right,
people know.
Yeah, that's perfect. The plume-tastic is a maiden grass.
Plume-tastic.
I think it's plum-tastic, but I call it plume-tastic.
Plum sounds better.
I think plum because it has like a purpley pink plume to it when it's blooming, and it one's a little bit shorter. So if you don't need something tall, like a 3 foot.
Lisa, we are out of time. I apologize.
I never have enough time.
Yeah, the list keeps going on. But Ken and Lisa Lain, the ornamental grasses you can put in your backyard here at Waters Garden Center.
Waters Garden companion plants for September are Russian sage, pampas grass, honeysuckle, and raywood ash.
Raywoods are superior shade trees for wind and drought locations.
Plant as a single specimen or in a grove for more widespread shade on hot south and western exposures.
Dark green foliage forms the perfect round head with leaves that turn a magical wine red through autumn.
We sell only the prettiest shade trees at Waters Garden Center. Shop in-store or online at watersgardencenter.com. You're listening to garden expert Ken Lain, owner of Waters Garden Center in Prescott. Look for more tips, tricks, and garden shortcuts through Ken's website. Additional shows of this podcast, read his weekly garden column, or follow him on Facebook, Instagram at watersgardencenter.com. That's Waters with 2 T's, gardencenter.com.